Hello, welcome back to another Tabletop Talk. Today I thought I'd take a few minutes and talk about using Replay Baseball's PC version to input stats and results from other games. Before I get started, I would like to say that I didn't purchase Replay Baseball for that purpose. I actually bought it for the game itself. It's a really, really good game, one of my favorites. The PC version is, in my opinion, hands down the best cards and dice computer version. And eventually, I think I'll probably do a review of Replay, say what I think about it. But I just wanted to say that it's a great game in and of itself. My 1954 Milwaukee Braves Replay, I'm mostly using Replay as the game engine for that. So, just be aware that the game itself is very, very good, and but you can also use it to input stats and results from other games. So, and that's what we're going to talk about a little bit now. Before I show you how I do it, I'd like to take a couple seconds to talk about why I do it. The first thing would be is the visual representation. As you know, I'm big on vibe and everything, and so let's go to the screen here. Most of you have seen this if you've seen any videos on the channel, and so the visual representation is just great. So when I'm playing on the tabletop, whatever game I might have right now, payoff pitch mainly, I have this up on my screen. So as you can see, the logos are great. The player pictures are great. The stadium representations are great. And the one really good thing about Replay PC is that you don't have to find these things yourself. On the baseball game, once you buy the game and buy the season, you can download one file that does all of this. So the logos are time sensitive, 1969 logos or 1969 logos, 1980 logos or 1980 logos. The picture files are just amazing. I've tried to do a little bit of that on my own for other games, and trying to find players in the right uniforms is hard, and they do a fantastic job. I would say 98% of the players have the right uniforms, and they have the most obscure players, even the ones who had two at-bats, there'll be a picture for them. So kudos to whoever put this together, but that's free of charge. And again, one file, you download it, install it, and everything is there. So, so you can see here that before the game, you've got the team, the logos, their record, who's pitching. You can click on that and this is where the stats are great. You've got splits, you've got game logs, just basically the stat package is wonderful. And of course, that's the second reason that I use Replay to input my other games is to compile the stats. I'm not one of those guys who could do pen and paper. There's a lot who do, and I obviously keep score pen and paper, but as far as putting the stats together, that's just more work than I'm willing to do. And so this, I'm able to input the game as I go along, and then it obviously compiles the stats for me. And so not only you have that, you got your team summary, which is really cool. You got the pictures, your leaders, your lineup. You got how your team's ranking. So far, this is a copy of my 1964 Replay. And so the whip, we're second in the AL, fourth in the majors. So you got injuries, your schedule. You can go right to the box score from here. So again, the stat package is amazing. One big thing for me is, as you might know, I enjoy replays. I'm not as big of a fan of what-ifs or one-offs, things like that. And so for me, stats are a big part of the experience. And having the stats of the players that I'm not playing is a big deal. So like in my Eddie Matthews, in my 54 replay, I want to see how he's doing in the home run race with other people. And so That's another reason why this is a great option, is because it will autoplay the games I don't want to play. And so ball score is a great option, but it's only, and it's free, but it's only going to tabulate the stats of the games that you play. And so you're not going to have stats of other teams other than when they play you. And so, again, because I do replays mainly, that's a big deal for me. And so, right now I know that Eddie Matthews is second in the NL in home runs behind Hank Sauer of the Cubs, because the computer version is replaying the other games. So not only the visual representation, you've got the compiling of the stats, and you get your team leaders, you got your standings. Also, it gives you a little recap of the day, gives you a few batting leaders, pitching leaders, the results of the day, the standings, anything unusual that happened, games that were kind of cool. And so, again, to me, that just adds a whole lot to my replay experience. Another reason why I like to use this is that in setting up a season, the options just save me a ton of work. So like when you reset your season to begin the year, you can do real lineups, real transactions. Here you've got your actual trades. This is your traded players. So you could do the actual trades, or you can keep all the traded players on their original team, put them on their final team, or put them on the team they played for the most. You can do the as played schedule, the scheduled schedule. You can do team specific cards if you don't want to do the combined cards. I do the combined cards myself. And so, for example, in my 54 replay, I'm not doing as played lineups. I put the traded players on the team they played with the most. And then I have injuries through the years, so that's a bit more open-ended, gives me more possibilities of variation, which I like sometimes. In my 1964 replay, I'm actually doing real-life lineups, real transactions, actual trades, the as-played schedule. So I'm keeping that a little bit more. So the point is that with these click of a couple button, you reset the season and you're good to go. And I mean, that just saves so much work, and it's very easy to set up. Once you get it done, you're ready to roll and start playing your season. So that's another reason why I really like this as a partner for my payoff pitch, for example. But you could do this for History Maker, Inside Pitch, any other cards and dice game that you wanted. So in order to set it up to do this, when you start your season, you want to go to the season options, and on the general options, you want to make sure you have allow game stats input editing checked. And so if you don't do that, it's not going to let you input the stats. It will only go with the game engine. So make sure that that's checked when you go to your reset season, and hit that. So when you have the real lineups, real transactions, the 25-man roster is automatically there. If you do not as played, there's a few more options that you can do the rosters yourself. But I've been very pleased with the computer manager. The computer does a good job with the roster management in my 54 replay. So, and of course, the computer manager is not going to work if you're inputting stats from another game. The computer manager will mostly shut off. But if you're using replay, again, like I've talked about before, that's a big deal for me. I like having an opponent, so I'm not trying to outguess myself. So anyway, so if you go back to your schedule here, and we'll pick a game. So again, the graphics are great. Great shot of Crosley Field there. So how it works is that you got a little pencil up here, and I had one person ask me you got your pitcher hitter thing here, how to get back to that once you start inputting stats. So if you hit your pencil, this is where you input your information, and I'll talk about that in a minute. But once you enter it and hit OK, you'll get the result here, and then all you have to do is hit this pencil again, and it'll take you back. And I do that. I could leave it in input mode, but I like to get back and see the picture of the next hitter and their stats. So before I show you how I do it, there's a couple other things here that the game gives me in my replay that I enjoy. So over here I have their combined or their real life stats, and then in here in the batter pitcher I have their replay stats. So on payoff pitch, their stats on the hitters are split up left and right, so it's a little hard to compute. So here I just got a snapshot of what the player did in real life, so I kind of use that to help me to gauge the talent of the people that's pitching and hitting at the time. If you click on the card here, you'll get a little bit more in-depth stats, seeing their doubles and triples and things like that. One thing I do wish is the stat package from the home screen is great, and to my knowledge there's no way to get to that from here. So like, for example, if I would like to be able to see how Kranepool is hitting against the Reds, for example, and I can't do that that I know of. If I'm able to and somebody knows how, please say so in the comments. But still, you can see the stats here and get a good idea of what they're doing in the replay and in real life. Another thing that I use this for while I'm actually playing the game is that when I want to go do a relief pitcher, all I have to do is... It's not going to let me do that because he hasn't faced a batter yet. But like if I want to pinch hit, then this is the same thing for the bullpen. It will show me who's on the bench. And so instead of having to dig through my cards, I've got all the available players right here. It tells me their actual at-bats. On the bullpen, it tells me how many relief appearances they had. So when you're doing a replay, you can see who they use most. And so if it's a season you're not real familiar with, in a snapshot, you're able to see, who the best option is. And all you got to do is once you select the player is just pull out your card. And so for me, that's a really big deal because, again, all that's right there where you need it. So in order to input, you hit the pencil up here, and you've got 3 different tabs. The first one are some standard things, which you'll use quite a bit. So you got single, double, triple, home run. If you kept score, most of this stuff is self-explanatory. The S plus is single, and the runner advances 2 bases instead of 1. The double plus is a double. The runner advances 3 bases instead of 2. I'm not for sure what these are. They might be helpful. I should check that out. And then here you've got some outs, fly out, foul out, line out, pop out. You got error, and then here you've got which fielder it is. You got your sacrifice fly, sacrifice hit plus error, sacrifice hit, some ground outs, force outs, double plays, steal and pick off. So again, most of this stuff is pretty explanatory. Quite often, however, there will be a result that you need to enter that's not covered here. So here where you go to detail, this is you'll use this a lot, and this one is a little bit of a learning curve. But so let's say, for example, Ed Kranepool doubles and gets thrown out by Queen trying to stretch it into a triple. So you hit double, and then you'll have your batter here. So we know that he was thrown out at third. So this is first, second, and third. So you go there and then hit it again, and that will make it an out. And then so over here you got your fielder 1 is the right fielder who threw it, and then the one that fielded it and made the put out was the third baseman. And so you got double. And then so one great thing about this is that it won't give you this OK button if it doesn't make sense. So sometimes you'll enter in things and it doesn't compute. And so this won't let you do that until it does. And so that's a great feature. So anyway, so we hit OK. You get the result here. So double, Kranepool out at third, 9-5. And then it goes back to your standard. And then if you want to see the next batter pitcher matchup, you hit the pencil again, and then there you go. And then so I've got pretty quick at it. So at first it was a little bit extra time to hit this back and forth, but to me it's worth the effort. I want to see the results, and especially when I'm quote unquote broadcasting a game, this is really nice to see on my tabletop. So we got Elliott up, and then let's say he hit a fly ball to Queen and right. So you just hit F9, and when you do a standard one, you don't have to hit OK. So you got fly out 9, and then you hit your little pencil. So let's say, let me show you the bullpen. So if I want Perky out, I just click on him, and again, you see here it's got the actual games relieving. So you can see, they used Ellis 47 games, McCool and Henry 37. Then you can also see how many they have been used in the replay. So that's just a fantastic feature. So when I'm having to manage both teams, which you have to when you're doing payoff pitch, this information to me is just invaluable. So it's got their actual saves. So again, and then you can just click on the player you want and put him in. So we got Ron Hunt up. You go over here. So let's say, let's say he singles. So you just hit a single. Okay. And then let's say he steals second. So you hit stolen base 2. Okay. Let's say he's thrown out trying to steal third. So there you see the caught stealing 3. And then so the results are here. And then so again, you hit the pencil and it takes you back. Another really good feature is the undo play. So let's say you accidentally hit that he stealed third, so you hit the undo. Then it puts you back where you were at, and you can put it in again, especially on the detail. Sometimes there's some things that are hard to figure out, and it takes you a couple efforts to get it in right. And so, that eraser is very handy. Now, beware, to my knowledge, you can't erase the last play of the game. Once the last play is done, the game is over. And I had one game in particular where I entered the wrong result on the last play, and I had to be stuck with it because you can't erase it. Once it's done, the game's over. So, again, if there's a way to do that I'm not aware of, feel free to say so. So anyway, let's say, George Altman's up, and he grounds out to shortstop. So, again, 6-3, and then you got, so these standard ones will save you some time. And there's, I'd say 50% of the time you'll find what you need here. And then I'd say 50% of the time you find it on detail. The third tab is rare. Most games, rare plays don't match up, and to my knowledge, I can't remember ever needing this. But again, there might be something here that something really rare that you can find here. So if you're not finding it and figuring it out in the detail, give the rare tab a shot, and you might find what you're looking for there. So far, I've done quite a few games with the replay game, and I haven't had any that I haven't been able to figure out. So. Again, a little bit of a learning curve, but as you can see there, you can enter in, and it works great. And then for all the reasons I've said, this is a great option for me. So some things to consider in order to, let's see, let me get back over here. Some things to consider is that you have to buy the replay game, and you also have to buy the season that you're wanting to replay in order to have the players and be able to input the stats for that year. Again, if you haven't tried out replay, it gives you an opportunity to try out the game because it's a very good game in and of itself. One thing is they don't have every season, and so, for example, Payoff Pitch has a 21 and 33 season that I'd like to do some replays with, and Replay PC don't have those seasons, and so I'm not able to use Replay for that. So that's one thing to consider. They don't have every season. Stratomatic, which is my second choice for doing this, and I might do a video for that too, but they do have every season on computer. So if there's a season you can find, you can do that with Stratomatic. So that is one advantage to using Stratomatic, is that you're able to have every season available, whereas with Replay you don't. So again, I just thought I would share that. If there's something I missed, or if there's something that you run across that is difficult, feel free to put it in the comments, and maybe I've done it and I can share. If there's something that you have found that's helpful in this, please put it in the comments. A big part of this channel is just sharing the passion with other people. who love it too, and if we're able to help one another, that's great. Obviously, I've been helped immensely from other videos, and so if there's something that I missed or that's not clear, feel free to say so in the comments, and that would be very much appreciated. So again, got a couple questions about this, so I just wanted to make a video to show how I use it and maybe give a little help as to how to get started. And again, if you have any questions, feel free to say so. I appreciate it. I'll see you next time.